This next story is from just 33556. We're just going to call him Brandon. Brandon had a very strange experience several years ago in Starved Rock State Park in Illinois. It was so bizarre at the time, he never even discussed it with anyone. He began reading the Missing 411 stories a few weeks ago and realized that what he encountered fits into the Missing 411 profile. And since many of the Missing 411 stories border on the unexplainable and bizarre, he thinks that what he encountered was not unique, that it was part of an actual phenomena. Here is his story. Brandon's visiting his girlfriend in Chicago, and on a sunny and calm winter day, they decide to go for a hike at Starved Rock State Park. Being an avid hiker and on leave from Iraq, he wants to take in some cool, fresh air. They're out hiking in the park for several hours, and in the late afternoon, they start heading back to the car. And when they're only about a half a mile away from the parking lot, they come to a spot where they can see an area in front of them where the tree branches are broken and pulled towards or over the trail. Most of the branches are broken high up, like 8 feet or more off the ground. Brandon had lived in Washington before going to Iraq and knew something of Sasquatch areas. So he tells his girlfriend it looks like a Squatch area due to the branches broken up high and pulled over the trail. That's about the time things start to get strange. They continue trekking their way back to the parking lot when Brandon starts to feel like somebody's staring at him. It's like if he goes into a room with a lot of people and someone is focused right on him, he gets an uneasy feeling and can tell that he's being watched. Well, it's just like that, but stronger. He starts to look around to see who's watching him. It's winter and the forest is visible hundreds of feet in all directions. There is a group of walkers several feet behind them, but no one's looking at them, and he sees nobody else around. As they pass through that Squatch area, he begins to have the feeling someone is behind them, following them. He looks around and listens, but he hears and sees nothing. There's just the people like 400 feet or so back on the trail, and they're talking amongst themselves. They're not paying any attention to Brandon and his girlfriend, but the sense of somebody following them won't go away. So he keeps looking behind him like every 30 seconds or so. But there's just that one group like way back there. The feeling of being watched is one thing, but the feeling like somebody is close behind you is something else. It's way more disturbing. His protection mode kicks in and he slows down a bit, letting his girlfriend get further in front of him by about 20 feet, just in case his intuition turns out to be right. Brendan turns around again, not more than 30 seconds since the last time he looked back, and there's a woman there. She's walking, but she's coming up on him fast. But there's something way off about her speed. She's walking when he spots her, but her speed is much faster than her gait. It's like she's walking on one of those people movers in an airport. She is coming up fast and is no more than 15 or 20 feet behind him when he sees her. He is rather alarmed and starts glaring at her. She stops when their eyes meet. He gives her a look of, "What the F are you doing coming up on me like that?" And they stand there staring at each other. Neither of them moves. She has her head cocked back to her left and looks at him from the corner of her eyes in a slightly alarmed, "You caught me" kind of look. She's completely normal looking though, like a local Chicago lady, late 50s, wearing a bright winter coat, gloves, pants, etc. Looking back on the encounter though, there are a few details that stand out besides the woman's unnaturally fast speed. There is no sound accompanying her approach, no crunching of leaves, no twigs, no rustling of clothing, nothing. If he hadn't had the feeling of being followed and been continually looking back, he never would have known she was coming. And despite how fast she's moving, there's no heavy breathing, no panting, and her mouth remains closed. Her gait is a normal walking gait, yet she is moving towards Brandon at an incredible speed, as if on a mission to catch up to him. When she finally comes to a stop, she's only a few feet away from him, close enough that he could have touched her if he wanted to. If she had continued at her previous pace, she would have reached him within a matter of a couple of seconds. As a formal Army criminal investigator, Brandon's training to look for distinctive markings on people and clothing kicks in, and he stares at the woman behind him. And the only thing he notices is that there's nothing to notice. She has no distinguishing features, none in her hair, skin, clothing, no shadowing on her skin hues, no dimples, nothing. He estimates that she was probably about 5'10". And her clothes are of uniform coloring and completely indistinct. It's like she just stepped out of a department store. Her bright red coat is pristine with a uniform hue to it. And even though the sky is clear and the sun is getting low, there aren't even any shadows. After staring at each other for what feels like 5 to 10 seconds, Brandon feels like he has made his point and turns around to continue walking. His girlfriend hasn't noticed anything and she just kept walking. And after about 3 steps, Brandon thinks, wait a minute. There's no way that woman could have come from the group behind us in the 30 or so seconds since the time before that I looked back. And she couldn't have come from either side. Visibility at this point is hundreds of feet in every direction. He says to himself, no way, and spins back around. And the woman is gone. Vanished. Brandon looks back at the group behind them, and no one is wearing a red coat or is even looking at them. There's no one else around, and there had been no sounds other than his and his girlfriend's footsteps. The woman just evaporated. From that point, it takes them about 10 minutes to reach their car. And in that whole time, Brandon no longer feels that weighty feeling of being watched or followed. They've never been back to Starved Rock State Park and have no intention of ever going back. The whole thing was bizarre. How was he supposed to tell anyone about that? So he never did. He has carried this experience around for over a decade and has been completely unable to talk about it because it was so unexplainable. But after reading many missing 411 accounts and the profiles of their disappearances, he believes he narrowly averted being snatched by whatever that thing was. He does not think it was the woman that he saw. He thinks it was something different that he could not see.